Hi, Amina. How are you today?
I'm fine, Richard. How are you?
I'm doing well. Today, I would like to ask you about relationships. I talk to people in my travels, and everyone seemed to struggle one way or another in their relationship or relationships. Could you tell me, what do you think about relationships?
I think everything is about relationship. In any part of the world you go, in anything that you do, everything has to do with relationships. We have mental relationships, we have emotional relationships, we have family relationships, we have lover relationships, marriage relationships, we have community relationships, we have relationships with our co-workers, with our bosses. So the first relationship we ever have is that with our mothers that give us birth, and our father, and family, or lack of them. That's also a relationship. If you're adopted, that's a totally different relationship. And we still have a relationship to the biological parents because we're always curious about them. And we have relationships with the family that we grow up with. Now, where they fall into what category, it depends on our early childhood experience in terms of how we relate to people in a safe way or an unsafe way. It's a very complicated subject, relationships. So today we really are going to talk about how relationships really need to be healthy, and maybe perhaps what we can do to make them healthy.
Is there a difference between your relationship with your spouse and the relationship you had as a child?
I most certainly would think so, because when we're children, that's where we learn how to relate to both sexes, whether it's with a male and a female, and we also learn to have emotional relationships with our parents, our siblings, and we learn how safe or unsafe that relationship may be. That's where trust is born, or lack of trust.
And the adult relationships that we do have, are you saying that we carry baggage from our childhood or from our relationship with our parents and siblings?
It depends on each individual. Each individual can be very sensitive to relationships or to how people react or respond to them. They can make absolute decisions about that they totally trust someone or they don't trust them, and that can be gender related. It can also be where they learn loving relationships and they trust people and they grow up having healthy relationships, which is very different to having a relationship to a spouse or a partner, because we bring all of that with us into that relationship. For example, if we have a healthy relationship with our parents, then we will definitely probably have a healthy relationship in our partnership, in our marriage, in our spouse, with our spouse. We probably would have a reasonably healthy relationship with certain expectations. If we happen to have a negative experience with our parents, or lack of parents, we might grow up being needier and also looking for that relationship to fulfill what wasn't fulfilled in us as a child. So the important question is to understand about who you are and what you are about, if you're having a relationship out of need or you're having a relationship out of want. There's a very big difference in it, because relationships out of need rarely ever work out, or there's a great deal of disappointment and anger about it, because we have this expectation of the other person to fulfill our needs and meet our needs.
So when someone says, well, my relationship with my partner is unfulfilling, that's coming from a place where they may not have been fulfilled in childhood?
Well, I don't know if that's true or not, because every individual's experience is different. If you're if anybody, not just you, anybody's in a relationship with somebody and you feel unfilled, that doesn't mean that's the partner's fault. That's your problem in looking at yourself, in trying to figure out where you're not fulfilled, where do you not feel connected or disconnected from. Are you disconnected from yourself, or is this an expectation you have that it's somebody else's job to make you happy? That rarely ever works out, because happiness is an inside job rather than finding someone to fill that void. Happiness is something you share with somebody, not something that you expect from somebody.